What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Juliet Ravello and I'm a realtor and investor here in Orange County, California. So I am super excited for today's video topic. Let's just get straight into it. So the big news of the week is that Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, is stepping down from Berkshire Hathaway at the end of the year. So we already lost Charlie Munger, which was Warren's partner in crime a couple years ago. So this is a really big loss for the investment community because Warren and Charlie gave us a virtuous investing philosophy through their sage advice and the way that they conducted themselves in business. So today I want to pay homage to their guidance by talking about mediocrity and how we must avoid it to be successful investors. Warren Buffett famously said that investing is simple but not easy. It's simple because the principles are straightforward and almost anybody can learn them. But it's not easy because success demands discipline, independent thought, and owning your decisions. Charlie Munger put it bluntly. He said, most people who try investing don't do well at it, but the trouble is that if 90% are no good, everybody looks around and says, I'm the 10%. Let that sink in for a sec. The illusion of being the exception happens when you stop thinking for yourself. And if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you cannot mathematically beat the market. So think of it this way. Every time you buy or sell a stock, there's someone on the opposite end of that trade that believes the exact opposite of you. The market at its core is a battle of conflicting beliefs. And to succeed, you have to be right more often than wrong. Not just in your analysis, but in your timing and your emotional discipline. If you just follow the crowd, then you know what everybody else knows and you have no edge. The edge comes when you do something different because you know something different. Okay, so let's get into some of the common ways that you can get stuck following the crowd, leading to either mediocrity or worse, dismal results. Okay, so let's talk about letting celebrities cloud your judgment. Okay, so I want you to tell me, what does Steph Curry, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Tom Brady all have in common? I'll give you 3 seconds. They all wanted you to buy FTX coin.
I'm not an expert, and I don't need to be. With FTX, I have everything I need to buy, sell, and trade crypto safely.
So update, in case you didn't know, Sam Bankman-Fried is now in jail for running a scam. The same jail as P. Diddy and Luigi Mangione. And as for the people who followed Steph Curry and Tom Brady and their investment expertise, well, they lost about $8 billion altogether. So next time that you see a rich and famous person endorsing something and you want to trust them because you respect their work and talent, remember that when they're giving you advice unrelated to their talent, they're giving you advice about something not in their lane of expertise. And believe me, I understand that this can happen to anybody. It's happened to me before. Like when I was in high school, I used to watch Nick Cannon give financial advice. I'm not doing that anymore. In investing, celebrity approval is irrelevant. What really matters is transparency, historical performance, fees, and risk. Don't let a familiar face lull you into a false sense of security. Okay, this leads me into my next point, number 2. Letting blind trust cloud your judgment. So I was watching the Bernie Madoff documentary the other day, and for those of you guys that are not familiar with the story, which is a true story by the way, Bernie Madoff was this big time stockbroker and financier. Basically, he was known for providing consistently high returns to his famous clients, but it was all just a Ponzi scheme because he was paying old investors with new investors' money, and he carried on this way for 30 years until he couldn't anymore. In the end, people lost their investments, and it was really tragic because we're talking about some people's life savings, and it amounted to billions of dollars that people got scammed out of. And these were actually some very smart people like Steven Spielberg, doctors, lawyers, and even other investors like institutional banks. So you might think, Bernie Madoff was that smart and that clever and he can carry on this Ponzi scheme unbeknownst to some very smart and informed people. But no, he wasn't that smart and clever, and I'll tell you why. There were so many red flags that people noticed but chose to ignore because of all the prestige that he exuded. I mean, after all, he had rich and famous clients. He made his clients feel special, like they were in an exclusive club, and it would have been considered rude to call into question someone with his cachet. At least that's the vibe he gave. In the end, people got swindled because they mistook his status for substance. The truth was hiding in plain sight, but when someone's wrapped up in prestige, Too many people stop asking questions, and that's how the scam works. It doesn't hide, it just distracts. Okay, so let's talk about letting pressure tactics cloud your judgment. The illusion of urgency is one of the oldest tricks in the book. You've heard the lines, "This offer expires in 10 minutes, act now or miss out, we only have 2 spots left." These tactics are everywhere, from timeshares and crypto deals and exclusive workshops and get-rich-quick schemes. That pressure is by design. The goal is to keep you from thinking clearly, to push you into a decision before you've had the chance to think about it. Because if you did have some time to think, you might find better options, or worse, you'd realize the whole thing was a scam. Pressure tactics are the enemy of informed decisions. They're not there to help you, they're there to short-circuit your judgment, to replace your natural caution with manufactured urgency. So don't take the bait. Just because someone's creating urgency doesn't mean the opportunity is real. If something is truly worthwhile, it doesn't need a ticking clock or a sales script to convince you. Solid investments, good ideas, real value, they can stand on their own. The motivation shouldn't come from urgency. It should come from your clarity. You need to be driven by the need to make smart decisions, not fast ones. And the only way to do this is with complete information, not pressure. Okay, let's get into point number 4. Letting psychological denial hijack your own judgment. So unlike pressure tactics or celebrity endorsements, psychological denial isn't about someone else influencing your thinking. It's you getting in your own way. It's when the truth feels too uncomfortable, too inconvenient, or too overwhelming to deal with. So you avoid it. You pretend it's not there. But here's the problem with that approach. Denial doesn't protect you. It delays the pain and makes it worse. When you refuse to face reality, you give up the chance to fix it or even prepare for it. And that refusal is a fast track to mediocrity, which is disastrous enough. Now, I'll be the first to admit I struggle with this, but what helps me is taking a Buddhist approach to trading and honestly to life. I practice acceptance. I accept that I'm not in control. You can think of the stock market like the ocean. Sometimes it's gonna be calm and sometimes it's gonna be chaos. Waves are gonna come whether I like it or not. And my job isn't to predict them, it's to be ready for whatever shows up. I don't let hope drive my decisions. I don't insist on outcomes. I prepare for both the storm and the sunshine. Because once I accept that I don't know what's coming, I can plan for all of it. If it all goes well, great, I'm ready. And if it doesn't, I've already mitigated the damage. That's not denial, that's discipline. Okay, so we've covered the 4 common ways that people can end up mediocre, which to me is the worst thing ever. So to recap, it's letting celebrities cloud your judgment, letting blind trust cloud your judgment, letting pressure tactics cloud your judgment, and 4, letting psychological denial hijack your own judgment. Now let's get into the vitamins or strategies that prevent mediocrity. Number 1, don't just stay the same, get better. So Charlie Munger said, spend each day trying to get a little wiser than you were when you woke up. That's the baseline. Self-education isn't a suggestion, it's a must. Getting better means reading, and not just anything, reading quality sources like The Economist, Barron's, Bloomberg, The Wall Street Journal. To make informed decisions, I need to understand the intersection of politics, economics, war, and money, because it's all connected. But it's not just about consuming information, it's about how you process it. I don't read passively. I interrogate what I'm reading. What does this mean? Is it logical? What's the bias? How might this affect my portfolio, my future, my life? Then I'll even read other sources of information so I can get a different perspective and therefore a more complete picture. Getting better also means constantly adapting. So what worked last week may not work going forward because the circumstances have changed. I have to stay updated, flexible, and constantly revisiting my assumptions. And none of this works if my physical and mental health are falling apart. So every day I'm trying to get better at sleeping, eating better, exercises. I stretch, I meditate, I reflect to sharpen my mind and clear out distractions. I focus on what I want to improve, how I show up for my friends, family, and clients, to who I surround myself with. Because getting better also means being mindful of who you choose to surround yourself with. Some people hold you back. And just because someone has a history with you doesn't mean that they belong in your future. you've got to be honest about the people around you. Ask yourself, are they pushing me forward or holding me back? At the end of the day, luck favors the prepared and mindset is contagious. Don't spend time with people that only see obstacles. Surround yourself with builders and people that see possibilities. Okay, number 2, fear stupidity more than you crave intelligence. So Charlie Munger said that it's better to be consistently not stupid instead of trying to be very intelligent. This is really about humility. The moment that you start thinking, I'm so smart, you stop listening, you stop learning, you stop questioning. That leads to mediocrity in investing because the markets don't care about how smart you think you are. But when your goal is simply to not be stupid, everything changes. You double check your thinking, you look for blind spots. It's a subtle shift in thinking, but it's a meaningful one. Seeking to be smart is about image. Avoiding stupidity is about outcome. One makes you perform, the other one makes you prepare. And in investing, preparation is key. So don't obsess over being brilliant, obsess over not making mistakes. And when you do make a mistake, learn from it. Okay, that leads me to number 3, learn from mistakes. So if you want to grow, you have to rub your nose in your own mistakes. No sugarcoating, no excuses. When I make a mistake, I let myself feel it. The embarrassment, the disappointment, the shame, the I messed up feeling, I own it fully. Then I journal it. I journal exactly what I did wrong, why I did it, and what I'm gonna do differently next time. And I write the real reasons. Was I afraid, unprepared, greedy, stubborn? Whatever it was, I name it. And then I fix it. And that's how you turn a mistake into a turning point. Okay, let's get into number 4. Investing isn't gambling. Mindset matters. Gambling and investing are not the same thing. In gambling, people tend to be cautious on the way in, but reckless on the way out. There's hesitation there to place that first bet. But then when people start losing, their emotions take over. So they get more aggressive in winning back those losses and end up just losing more money. That emotional spiral has no place in investing. Investing is about calculated risks, good timing, thorough research, and clear analysis. You know what you're getting into and you know how and when to get out. In other words, gamblers get bold when they're losing. Investors get bold when the opportunity is right. That's the difference. Investing isn't about hope. It's about preparation, positioning, and probability. There's no room for impulse, only insight. Let's get into number 5. Avoid envy, it's useless. Envy is useless and dangerous. It leads to irrational decisions. As for envious people, if you don't identify them, they will be working to undermine your goals. Okay guys, so let me leave you with this. Don't follow the crowd, because the crowd isn't investing, they're reacting to headlines or mimicking influencers. Basically, the crowd is emotional, which is the opposite of insightful. So how do you protect yourself? You become your own expert by educating yourself with books, fundamentals, and context. You build your foundation before you listen to anyone else. And when you're ready, seek out people who are serious thinkers, people with a record of success, not just a following, people who've earned their credibility through time. Also, stretch your perspectives, because just reading articles you agree with leads to biased thinking and therefore more blind spots. At the end of the day, investing isn't just something you do, it's something you become. So develop good habits, challenge your mind, and build your circle. But above all, don't be mediocre by following the crowd. Until next time, be smart, be curious, and build wealth. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and share. And don't forget to turn on your bell notification so you get notified every time I upload a brand new video. I will see you guys on Sunday, or possibly I will drop a bonus video this week. Bye guys.